Hello everybody, it is Stephanie again, and this is the last of 2 videos before I get to go see Juniper Grace, so I'm very excited about that. I have a lot to catch up on with you guys, but I have 2 things I want to discuss, and then, yes, do the devotional and share this verse that somebody told me. Okay, first of all, and so I don't forget, the song of the day is going to be Even When It Hurts by Hillsong. So just a few things. I think I already told you guys about how my bed is in this room, but it really helps, but I still walk into it time to time, and I have a bunch of unknown bruises again on my legs, so usually that just means I forget to write it down when I do walk into something, but, okay. Oh, yes. Oh, and yes, I know I've already told you guys, but I got approved for the service dog. Okay, I keep hitting my face on the dryer when I have the door open. I think I told you guys the last 2 places with the dryer and washer, it's just really hard to get into, and doors are trying to hit you, and it's really nice at Isaac and Jen's house because they actually have a laundry room and there's plenty of space. However, that doesn't mean that I don't still hit my face when I'm leaning into the dryer. And I also knock my glasses off sometimes. Also, it's kind of funny when I'm worshiping with a banner. Sometimes I just really go into it and then my glasses fly off. Oh yes, and I sat on my glasses. Thankfully, it was fine, and America's Best will replace them if I destroy them. So anyway, I'm nice to know if I do sit on them again that they can fix them. So, okay. Oh yes, and I was getting unpacked the big suitcase, and I had both of the drawers out, one over the other one, and I walked into both of them out, and it was like, duh, just have one out while you're filling it up, and so I was like, duh. Oh yes, and I tripped down the throw rug in Isaac and Jen's bathroom, so we're gonna kind of have more of a making sure that it is off the floor when I am in there, because if I had fallen, I would have fallen into the bathtub. I feel like I'm tripping a lot more around the house, so I might have to go see the PT again. Okay. Yes, okay. Make sure. Oh, yes, and, okay. Okay, yes, okay, that's the little Huntington things, but a few awesome things. The 2 little girls that I saw in the back row last week, they were back, and so they worshiped with me with banners again, and it was just so awesome, and like God worked out the timing perfectly that all of my banners were there, so now we have 9 to choose from, so it's just really fun, and that is Kelly and Elise are the names of the sisters that were worshiping with me, so it's so exciting, and hopefully, little by little, we'll have other kids coming over. Okay. Oh yes, okay. Okay, so the other thing I need to discuss, I can't reach my water, just a second. Okay. So I went to, there is the woman, the social worker that puts on the Huntington support group, decided to have a young and medically advanced group to get together, and so this last week I was there, and it was just really incredible because, it's like, having these young people with sometimes diseases that nobody even knew about, so it's just nice to connect, especially with the women, and I had out a piece of paper. I think I told you guys when I forget, like, gonna forget what I was talking about. I have a paper out and I was writing it down, and the other girl that was there, she has Alzheimer's and she's really young, so when she saw that I was doing that, she's like, that's a really good idea. And of course, everybody loves this cup, and I was telling them, that you can't really knock it over, and if you do, not very much stuff comes out. So, but it was just awesome getting to connect with the ladies, and I look forward to doing it again every month. Okay. Yes. Okay, this one was really hard. I must wet my whistle. So, when I drove to the property for Thanksgiving, we noticed that when we got my car there, that there was a flat tire. I was like, uh-oh, maybe because the road is really bumpy and all of that. So my dad and another guy looked at it, and Dad was like, it's probably that there was something in this tire, and that just driving out on the rocky roads, just kind of made it get flat. So they put on the spare tire, and my dad's like, just don't go over 60 miles, an hour, and it's like an hour and a half drive, but we made it. And then my dad had said that I needed to get taken care of the next day, and for whatever reason, I'm like, well, I don't plan on driving anywhere on Friday, so it'll be alright, I'll take care of it on Saturday. And then I forgot about it on Saturday, and it was time for me to leave for church, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh no, it's flat again, really flat. But Isaac hooked up his air compressor that he can hook into the car, and he got the tire pumped up, and he was like, I'm gonna leave this in your car just in case you need it, And so I had a, full tire, and then I got back from church, it was still full, but on Sunday morning it was completely flat again, and my brother was sleeping. It was very early in the morning, so I was like, it should be fine until I can get it to the tire place, just running on it low. Well, it got worse and worse when I was driving to church, and you could just hear it plunking. So I'm like, I'll be fine if I just drive like 10 miles an hour. So when I got to church, obviously it was almost destroyed, but I still I was like, it'll be fine, if I have to drive 5 miles an hour to get to the tire place. And all of these people noticed that the tire was down, and the guys were like, do you need any help? I'm like, I'm not sure, because, the other tire has a thing in it, stuck in it. If I had been thinking, it could have definitely had them fill it up with the thing that my brother left in the car. So again, really stupid. I started to drive, and I found out, first of all, a discount tire is not even open on Sundays, so I was going so slow, and I could hear that the tire was just not good, and this ambulance comes up behind me, and I thought he wanted me to pull over, he was like, hey, you're going too slow, you need to pull over. Then I realized he was behind me, and he had me roll down the window, and he was like, where are you going? And I'm like, just a discount tire, it's like a mile. And he was like, nope, you're gonna pull over now because it's illegal to drive with your tire like that. And apparently he and the police officer were worried that I had been under the influence of something, because apparently only this, person impaired or stupid would have kept driving like that. So they had me pull into the parking lot that was right there, and then the police officer came, and he's like, have you had any drugs or alcohol? And he looked at my eyes, and I was like, nope, but I guess he did. The police officer asked if there was any health things going on, and I said I have Huntington, so hopefully, that explained a little bit for why I decided to do that when everybody was like, don't do it, don't do it. So, hard lesson learned, but they did repair my tire, and yes, things are better now, so I'm just, not sure how much of the Huntington's was going on, but probably enough to impair my judgment like that. Okay, now we're all caught up. Oh, yes. So, I'm going to be volunteering at the Springs of Life, Springs Rescue Mission. And this lady I was with interviewing, and it's so awesome because it's a Christian organization, and I was sharing about losing my kids, and she's like crying as I'm telling my story, and then she's like, have you ever heard Isaiah 40:11? And she read it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, and then I read it again, and just listen, because it's really applying to not having my babies. So, he tends his flock like a shepherd. He gathers his lambs in his arms, and he carries them close to his heart. He leads those that have young. So, talking about my young, and that he's leading them, and that they're safe against his heart. So it just, wow, it was perfect. So I wanted to share it because that's going to be another verse that I go to a lot. And the devotional, I need more water. Okay. Is look up to him. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Continue to work out your salvation, for it is God who works in you and to will and to act according to his good purpose. Philippians 1:6. There are countless promises given to us by the Lord for times when things are hard. There is one in the Old Testament which was given first to Moses, then to Joshua. I will never leave you or forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:6. Lest we should fear that it was spoken only or especially to Joshua, the writer of the New Testament book quotes it just as if it were spoken to him and to all of us who read this book. I will never leave you or forsake you. So we may say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I like that part. With confidence, don't you? We are not meant to shake with fear when faced by temptations. We may look up to him who conquered powers of evil when he reigned from the tree. Those powers can never say that he did not conquer them, for he both exposed them and made a show of conquering them openly. Therefore, we follow in procession behind a triumphant Christ. And if all our reliance is placed upon him, we need never be defeated in spirit. Today, from hour to hour, he can and will lead us to triumph if we look to him. And if some duty or service has to be done which seems quite impossible, the same promise of help and triumph holds true. Over and over again, I have seen the Lord do impossible things. I think he delights in the impossible, and he delights to keep the faith of those who look up to him and says, Lord, you know that I cannot do this, but I believe that you can. Our Father, so often we rely on ourselves to be strong enough, good enough, still thinking that We have to make ourselves presentable and worthy of your love. Help us today to cease from all our inner striving and to rest in you, knowing that you will see us through every temptation to be the one, to be the old us and not like you. Alright, you guys are all caught up. And I will probably talk when I have more to say on Fun Friday, which is just around the corner. So I hope you guys are having great weeks. And I will talk when I have more to say.